What is going on, everybody?
Good afternoon, good
Hello.
evening.
Good morning, good night, something like that. It's
Yeah.
6:02 over here. I don't know what it is. What is it over there?
It's 23:02.
23:02. Ooh, it's getting late.
Yeah, it's getting very late.
Yes, it
I've been
is.
told off for making too much noise.
Look who's back. It's Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right there. And Darren's right there. And Anthony's right there. It's good to see you guys. If y'all are just now joining in, happy Saturday. It's good to be back for another episode of Unfiltered Conversations. And today we have a fatal four-way for all my WWE fans, by the way, that remember that. That's what we have today.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, again, it is good to see everyone.
Killed him.
Damn, that escalated quickly.
That was from Hell in the Cell.
My God, he broke him in half.
It killed him.
What was that? That was Undertaker and Mick Foley.
Undertaker and Mankind. Yeah,
that's right.
One of the classics.
That was.
Yes, I was an Attitude Era kid.
Were you?
I was.
Okay. Well, that's
The
great.
best era.
It was
the best era. It's just lost its way now.
In fact, Anthony and I were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, it's great. Great little bit of history. I love that part of history.
Wouldn't that be a fun episode to do?
Oh, that would, yeah.
The history of WWE.
Monday Night Wars.
WCW, ECW, even though some of them...
The thing is, in the UK, we didn't get WCW.
No?
Well, you did. You got Monday Nitro once on like on a Friday. But it was WWE or nothing. So
interesting.
You know?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Darren, so since we're getting into the flow of things already, you had a pretty interesting weekend this past weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And for the last probably around about 19 years, minus the COVID year, I've been going down to Great Torrington. You know, every year is different, but it's not, if you know what I mean. It's all the same sort of stuff, but yeah, it's great to go back down there. We've managed to go back into the Black Horse pub, which has been shut for 3 years due to COVID. And the thing is, that's an important part of the story of the Battle of Great Torrington, because that is where Sir Ralph Hopton, the commander of the Royalist Army, is eating his supper when he gets news that the parliamentarians are outside of the town of Great Torrington. And he literally has to get on his horse, leave his supper half eaten, and off he goes into the battle. And he gets a pike through the head, through his mouth and everything.
Man.
Yeah, falls off his horse. And as Alan Mitchell says, he's quite a big lump. So getting him back on the horse was hard work.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But that pub was reopened, and me and Al managed to film a little video, which I put up earlier on Facebook.
I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah. And we only did that because obviously we didn't get a chance last year to go in the pub. You know? That pub is 13 something. I think it was actually built when Torrington was founded, sort of near enough. It's a really old part of Torrington's history, you know, which is really cool. But to take part in that march is amazing. And if people don't know the story of Great Torrington, it's the last battle in a series of battles called the English Civil Wars, which run 1642 to 1651. But that's the last battle in the first English Civil Wars, and it's sort of they're the last, like, you know, pocket of royalists left in the country, and they get defeated. You know.
So, Braceface Jerry, how is it going, buddy? It's good to see you again. That's one of my former students, by the way, and they would always call me Stewie when I was working. So it's nice to see him here. I recognize that immediately. I also recognize that Abraham Lincoln is looking extremely stoic this evening. Just
that he is.
But he also looks like he's
talking very much.
No, he's not. What's going on in your world?
Nothing much in my world. I am kind of jealous of you guys over in England. You guys got like hundreds of years of history. We only have this measly like 200.
Thousands.
Thanks for the correction, Anthony.
But you know, we like to share it with everyone. So you know, get your ass on a plane and get over it, and I'll share it with you.
Well, see, I gotta go over there because my mom told me this story about she closed down the Hard Rock in London, so I gotta catch up with her.
Holy shit.
She said, I was over there and I closed it down. Yeah,
Well, I live in a really cool area. I've got
He
loads of
does.
stuff around here.
Oh, do you have any pictures you can send me of the Battle of Great Britain place you went to? A couple of those, so I can put them on the screen.
Yeah, I can work on that while you guys have a chat.
Yeah, if you want to, because I want to show these guys. That was really cool, and we'll show
okay.
everybody while we're at
We'll
it.
do that.
Well,
Yeah.
Anthony and I, too much Mountain Dew. Anthony and I have been book shopping a lot in the past couple weeks. We picked up some really good titles, I think. Do you want to tell everybody what you're reading right now? Because it was a rather your microphone's doing that thing again. There we go.
I didn't know we had R2D2 on here.
Can you hear me now?
I'm leaving that in the podcast.
How about now?
Holy shit. Can you hear me now?
It's doing it when he's laughing too.
Just keep it like that.
Oh, that's staying in. That's not getting edited out. That was, folks. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
All right. Well, when he comes back, we can talk about what he's reading. Josh,
You
did
know what
see
it
on
was, didn't you? We
There
was
he is.
talking about WWE at the beginning. He
Yeah.
was doing Kane when he first came into it, when he used to put that fingers.
Talk?
Can you hear me now?
Oh my God!
Oh,
Yes,
there you
thank
go.
you.
He's back.
Yeah.
Dude,
All right, this is what I'm currently reading.
that is. I had that in my hands at the bookstore today, but then I realized it's at McKay's, and I'm not spending 30 on it.
I got this
What-
for 10, I think.
What do you think of it so far?
It's great. Loving it.
Good to know. Anthony, I hope you
And,
understand.
And then after that, we're gonna jump into this book.
There you go, Daz.
Yes, mad and dangerous and bad.
Are you mad and dangerous and bad?
No.
No? Okay.
Sorry to disappoint.
Braceface over on YouTube said he's been reading The English Patient and The Great Gatsby. Oh, The Great Gatsby's a good
That's a
title.
great book.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
The
Awesome.
eyes. The eyes.
Josh, what are you reading, sir?
Currently, I'm reading Looming Tower.
Okay.
That's the one about the FBI and the CIA response and how they siloed information between each other, and then essentially it's about the radicalism of Islam coming up to extremist terrorism.
Okay.
And it's related to other things that are going on in my life. But named one of the 100 best nonfiction books in history by Time Magazine, made into a Broadway show and a Hulu show with Jack
Okay.
Daniels. So
Well, then you might be interested in to see what I'm reading.
Waco.
Mm-hmm. Just came out this year, too, in January. I didn't even know that until I saw it today. I was like,
It came last month.
yeah, brand new.
I gotta look around Lincoln here.
Nathan Provost over on Facebook. How's it going, man? You will be at the symposium this year. Oh, very good. We look forward to seeing you.
You know, the president won't get out of my way. I can't see you guys.
Well,
Never
He's the
mind.
president.
push him off like
He's the
Seward
president.
wanted to do, and get him out of the way.
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want to forward it. No. I'm trying to save this image. Almost forward it back to you, Darren.
I also have this book here with some
What is that?
overrated folks on the cover.
Hold on.
That looks very interesting.
It's a great book, but I see your overrated folks. Yes.
Some overrated folks.
Definitely.
That guy
Yes.
and that guy, but also that guy.
Agreed.
He said, agreed. All right, I'm putting these pictures up now so we can see it. Darren has gotten them to me. Give
Yeah,
me-
I haven't got that many actually. I didn't take any pictures. I did a
That's
film.
okay. These two are good. You can tell us about these.
Whoever's listening at home, write down what you're reading.
Yes, please. We like to hear what
Yeah,
you're
I
reading.
need book suggestions.
No matter what
I need to know
platform
what to
you
buy.
are on, write it to us. Which one did I just put up? Bada Bing 1 or Bada Bing 2? That's what I named them. Okay, Bada Bing.
I like Waco.
I do. Okay, hold on. You like this? No, you can't just say that. You can't say that.
I did watch the show. Really good show.
The show was great. I've read the book that the show is inspired off of too. It's a good book.
What was the? Ooh.
Yeah.
So this is a really nice site. It's called the Battle of Britain Memorial Site, and obviously it is what it says it is. But yeah, it was. I think it was put up there in '97 or something like that. And there's like a little museum and everything.
Mhm.
But they have these replica. It's a Hurricane and a Spitfire, and then whatever that German plane's called in the background, because I can never remember, the one that dive bombs everyone. As like a sculpture, but it's an amazing place. It's up on like a place called Cape de Fern. It's such a beautiful place.
And you live close, right?
Yeah, very close. About 5 minutes.
What is this?
Beautiful place. Yeah, so that's the in the parking lot. That's just like a little commemoration to the Battle of Britain itself.
Okay.
Which took place in 1940.
1940.
In September 1940. And literally, I mean, Germans were throwing everything at. It was, I think, it was called Operations. Was it Operation Sea Lion or something like that? I can't remember what it was called now. But
they were
Hitler,
trying.
Before Hitler turns his attention to the east, he's going to throw everything at Britain. They want to get rid of the RAF, and they don't do it. They just can't do it. And then, of course, he starts banging on the wrong door in the east, and that doesn't go down well, does it, for him?
No, it does not.
They do fail in the end, but it's touch and go for a bit. But it's an amazing site, it really is. We also have another place close here where there used to be an airfield where they used to send the Spitfires up and the Hurricanes up, called Hawkinge, but. The museum is great, but you can't take pictures and that in there and that. But they do have a great Facebook. He's worried about people, because he's got some valuable stuff in there. He doesn't want people coming up there and breaking in and stuff. So, but it is a great museum.
All right, Civil War 6165 over there on YouTube. Thank you for watching, man. I'm wrapping up The Handmaid's Tale. Then I have to start The Will to Believe, Woodrow Wilson, World War I, and America's Strategy for Peace and Security. That sounds like a really good title.
Do you know what? I'm not actually reading anything at the moment, but I am actually re-listening to. I don't know if you're a Lord of the Rings fans here, but
Anthony down there, yeah.
I just got back into it.
Yeah, this is the thing. So I had a conversation with someone a little while ago, and it rekindled that fire. And the BBC in the 1980s did a dramatized version on the radio. And it's got Ian Holm, who plays Bilbo in the film, actually plays Frodo Baggins in it. But it's fantastic. It's like 12 parts, and it's fantastic.
And you can listen to that still today.
Yeah, you can. It's on Audible, that one. Yeah.
Okay. Kojak, 1863. Welcome. Grant at 200 in 1880 book. Rear Admiral William Reynolds and John Fulton Major General. Oh, interesting. And Braceface on YouTube. Because there are a sequel coming on April 6th on Showtime titled Waco: The Aftermath. I didn't know that. That would be interesting to watch. I'll make sure to definitely catch that. Thank you for sharing. So let's see. Anthony.
Well, I got to listen to that now.
Yeah,
I'll have to listen to that now. I just finished watching all the movies, and then there's that new show on Amazon.
That's my plan. I want to get back into the movies again. But the thing is with the that audio thing is you realize how much different it is to the actual film. There's a lot of differences in some of the again, in a film you can only put certain things, can't you? But I only ever watch the extended versions as well. I never watch the original anymore. I don't know whether you do the same, but the extended version you get a little bit extra in there, and the Hobbit wasn't as good, was it? But
no,
those three films. I mean, I must have gone to see Return of the King about 7 or 8 times in the cinema.
Really?
Yeah,
it's a great.
I mean, goosebumps. You know, when they turn up at Minas Tirith, the Riders of Rohan, and you hear the horn going. Oh, it's goosebumps. Oh, I love that film.
Well, I'm getting ready to go to Chickamauga, Chattanooga in a couple weeks. So
I'm jealous.
For yeah, dude. I've been.
Yeah, so am I actually. Yeah.
I'm also. Oh, look at that, Chickamauga, Chattanooga.
When in doubt,
Yeah.
Anthony has the book that you need.
Which one?
Your collection is the size of 20,000 books. So.
Used to be. Now it's like 19,000.
He's given 1,000 to Tyler.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you actually seen Tyler's collection? Oh my goodness me! I mean,
it's doubled since I don't. Sometimes
it's
I
huge.
feel overwhelmed.
I mean, it's literally you open the cupboard and they fall out everywhere. Literally.
What is the percentage of actual books that you have read then? 1%,
actually,
2%?
No, quite a bit. I read very voraciously. I sit in my room a lot, and like this morning, I woke up and read quite a bit actually. More than I probably care to admit how long I stayed in bed before I actually had to get up and be productive.
So how long does it actually take you to read a book?
Depending on the topic, and speed reading. If I already know a lot of the backstory on what the book is about, then and I'm not saying like when I say speed read, like just skipping pages. Like I'll read, but I'm more skimming. Or I've heard the term coined grad school reading at the same time. So I guess that's how I tackle some of the books that I may have a back knowledge on going into it. But if it's a new topic and something I'm extremely interested in, it could take me a little bit longer just because I'm digesting more that is in the book than I normally would be. But I'd say, let's see, we'll use Waco for example, a book that's 320 pages before the notes at 2 days if I'm not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to your trip to Chickamauga,
Mm-hmm.
so I understand that is one of the first battlefields ever preserved. Is that right?
Number one,
yeah.
Number one.
And
Yep.
Yes.
Number one.
Ezra Carmen helped with that, if I'm not mistaken.
1870 something, was it? 1879?
I think so.
Like that.
I had an ancestor that was at Chickamauga, but not during the Civil War. I had an ancestor that was at a camp during the Spanish-American War. That's right. I think it was called Camp Thomas, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Was it Camp Thomas?
It was. Cool. Okay. That's my favorite site.
Yeah?
Favorite Civil War battlefield?
Would be Chickamauga?
That town in Pennsylvania has got nothing on...
Over commercialized Disneyland of Civil War.
Yeah, I call it Disneyland of the Civil War world.
It is. Battle's a great story, but you're not wrong.
Don't get me wrong. You know, I do love the place because it's the reason why I'm into the Civil War in the first place. You know, the movie really, but then visiting. But you know, there are others out there that deserve a bit more focus and
like Yorktown.
You know, like Yorktown. Oi, hang on a minute. Don't No, but I mean, even Fredericksburg deserves more. You know.
Yeah. Fredericksburg.
Totally agree.
Hey, but don't forget, before he served the colonies, George was a soldier in His Majesty's army.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
And he's a turncoat. Anyway.
Yeah, you know, he didn't do too well in His Majesty's army either. You know, for necessity, he had his butt kicked.
Well, to be fair, his native ally brought that on themselves at Jumonville out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thing is, we just got too greedy. You know, we wanted to. I mean, we're like it now. We pay tax on everything. You know.
Right.
And that's the problem, isn't it?
We tried to tell y'all.
You know.
We tried to tell you that the taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Noel Harrison.
Ooh, hello.
Oh, Mr. Noel Harrison, my good friend.
He said, bought on eBay years ago after PayPal gave me a tour of the 1898 sites. Good memories. Very good.
Yes.
And Shannon Mort over on Facebook. Hello from Virginia. Well, hello from Virginia.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hello from Virginia.
Yeah, two Virginians over here.
Hello from Virginia in August.
Oh, you are coming down.
Who?
You said hello from Virginia in August.
Yeah, last year. I meant
Oh,
from the
damn, you got my
past.
hopes up. I was like,
I wish.
got
I'll tell
my
you,
hopes up.
if I was rich, I'd be living there, and you'd have to put up with me every day.
I think I could do that as long as
You
I
know?
had a beer at the end of the day.
Because it's such a great place.
I think we could manage that.
The
one.
cat agrees.
Yeah, the cat
Yeah.
does.
Anyway, going back to battlefields that need a bit more focus, and of course Manassas needs that as well.
Mm-hmm. Manassas does need that.
I mean, driving through it was just like, I want to get out. I want to get out. Literally, I wanted to jump out the window.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's like
And you haven't even seen like the half.
I
of it
literally
yet.
just all I saw was Jackson's, monument.
The big
one that
one,
looks like he's on steroids.
Buffalo Jackson.
Yeah,
The Buffalo Jackson.
there he stands like a stone wall,
That was a good.
And he can bench press twice his weight.
ready behind the Virginians.
Oh my gosh, Darren, that
Don't
was good.
worry, I will lift everything. I will lift the ground.
Yeah.
I will lift the entire Confederacy on my back.
Anyway, talking about
Yeah.
Jackson, me and Tyler did a nice
First-
little. We started at the bivouac site.
Oh,
Not the big
Anyway,
link site.
we did
no.
the not that one. He took me on the flank march. That was pretty cool.
There was always a
Here's
joke
a-
behind that.
It's a very dangerous word, the bivouac site, because it
Yes.
it could accidentally say something else.
And it's
Very dangerous.
It's happened a lot, and
Yeah.
it's a struggle because when I go on live, I'm just like, do not say bivouac, do not say bivouac, say
Yeah.
bivouac.
Yeah.
But it's the last time that Lee and Jackson saw each other. They got their little kiss and they went off and did their big, huge thing. So,
And what I always found is it's really convenient that the fact that the Wilderness and Battlefield Park Centre put Jackson's shooting site right outside the front door. I thought that was quite convenient.
yeah, that was. And for a while, there was a thought that he was shot in the auditorium.
And there you go.
well,
He
he was late to the movie. He was late.
That's
to the
right.
movie.
There
He
you
was
go.
going to grab his popcorn.
Well, no, he had to play George Pickett first, didn't he? He had to get out of had to swap his beard over.
What have you
Gordonsville.
missed? A lot. You've missed a lot, Readout. Welcome, though. I'm glad you're here. I'm the curator of the Exchange Hotel Civil War Medical Museum in Gordonsville. The Gordonsville Receiving Hospital is staffed by doctors that formerly staffed. Oh, no kidding. I was just
Do you have
over.
any names? You have any names? Of
Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll have to stop by there because I want to go to Montpelier again soon. Another good founding fathers. Yeah, let's take that, Britain.
I'm
I'm
going to
kidding.
turn off in a minute.
No, don't do that. Don't mess with me.
Hang up on me.
I know. I meant to tell you I went to go
I
see
told
James
you, third
Madison.
priority on the list of things. Yeah, when we looked at the list, we said, right, India, we've got to get some tea.
we'll
Something
take
else
care of
came
it.
up, and then America was like third. Was like, these. Oh, we'll just leave them to it.
It would be pretty nice if that tea would wind up in the harbor there.
Oh, it would do, but it
And
wouldn't,
it did.
it wouldn't matter. I mean, it's already tea coloured anyway, so
Yeah, the Rappahannock,
it's different.
the Rappahannock River.
Yeah, the crap.
Yeah.
The crap ahead.
Yeah. I learned not to swim in that at a very early age. I
Yeah.
did it a couple times, and like when you get out, you feel really sticky, and I don't think you're supposed to do that getting out of a river. So I'm like,
It's like the
yeah,
Harper. It's like the Shenandoah as you approach Harper's Ferry.
I wouldn't even touch
Don't
that.
do
No.
that.
No.
Actually,
touch
talking
that.
Well,
about
you know
rivers,
it's illegal to swim in the river south of Washington D.C. It is illegal.
Really?
It'll make you sick.
I bet it
Oh,
would.
yeah.
Fucking disgusting.
right? Anyway, getting on the topic of polluted rivers. Now, have you ever heard of the Great Stink?
Of the, is
Really
it the
interesting.
Thames?
So,
Nah.
imagine
please.
Victorian London, yeah, and the River Thames.
Mhm.
And so I watched this TV program the other day, and I've been thinking about it for a little while because I don't know, it's just interesting part of history. But anyway, they had like old medieval sewers, and of course, then in the Victorian period, a lot of posh people started getting proper flushing toilets fitted, and there was nowhere for this to go. Yeah, so anyway, they had a heat wave in the summer of 1858. and all of this shit and piss is going into the Thames. But the problem is there's no rain, there's a drought, and there's a heat wave.
Oh,
And it literally and it was called the Great Stink. Literally, it stunk so bad you wouldn't believe it. But what it did is a guy came along and saved London and built underground sewers, proper ones, you know. It's the first ever proper sewer system in the world. But
that's actually really interesting.
it was that bad. A woman actually fell into the river and she practically died from swallowing the water. It was that bad.
Dude,
That sounds absolutely horrendous.
It was horrendous. And again, because there was a drought and there was no rain, there was nowhere for it to go because the Thames is tidal, you know. So the tide would come in, take it out, you know. But it wasn't, and it literally was a cesspool. The whole River Thames.
Talk about getting clogged.
Exactly, literally. And you know,
here we
go.
go.
Cholera. You know, cholera literally was rampant through London. Of course, but the thing is, they thought it was the smell. It wasn't the smell. Obviously, it's you know, it got into the drinking water. You know, the wells and stuff like that. You know,
Right.
people apparently that's the most horrendous thing to die of.
Oh, yeah. I don't really.
Apparently, it's dehydration basically on like an extreme level. And yeah, but yeah, it's called the Great Stink. Go and look it up. It's quite interesting, but it's a bit
I don't
smelly.
know if I want to look it up.
I'm actually going to look it up really quickly. I'm going to see if I can get a picture of like a car. What year was it?
1858.
The Great Stink.
3 years before the Civil War.
Imagine if that was a Confederate tactic where they just put that in the Rappahannock. Holy crap. No pun intended.
Literally.
Oh, Anthony, I heard a little robot blip. Please don't tell me you're okay. Nope.
Say, do you feel like we do?
It's Kane.
It's
Oh
Kane.
my God, it's Kane.
He's coming back.
He didn't do the Peter Frampton request. Do you feel like we do?
I found a really interesting newspaper, like you call them lithographs. I forget what those things are called, but I think look at that. That's a great illustration of the Great Stink.
There you go. That was basically
Yep.
it.
Looks as horrendous as I thought it would be.
And the thing is as well, London in the Victorian period was like literally the most populated city in the world. It goes from something like a really small community to like 3 million people.
Jesus.
So again, you've got all this shit and piss. It's got to go somewhere, you know. And that literally, I mean, Victorian London would have been disgusting anyway because, you know, you had tanneries and all that sort of stuff as well. And they literally just chucked it all in the street, you know. You know, and I can't imagine.
How about
right.
I'm
now?
gonna have nightmares of that image
You
now.
sound
Now,
great now.
no,
Yeah, I
it's
can
not.
hear you.
It's not so bad now. Oh, you're talking about your mic.
It's
I
not so
cleared it
bad
up
now. Oh, so there was this thing in 1919. It's not a stink, but it looks like it would be a big mess that happened called the Great Molasses Flood. You ever heard of that, Darren?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, there is. I don't know exactly the specific. Give me 1 second, but there's a picture of it and there are unfortunately fatalities from this huge giant wave of molasses that takes out Boston.
Oh wow. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? They shouldn't have chucked the tea in the Rappahannock in the harbour. Oh wow.
Thankfully, they didn't do it in the Rappahannock, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Deep down, I'm thinking, I remember hearing about that, but I don't know the details. Something about, molasses.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing too. Like there was a huge flood in molasses. Or let's see, the molasses flood, known as the Boston Molasses Disaster, January 15, 1919. 2.3 million gallons of molasses,
Wow.
killing 21 people and injuring 150. The event entered local folklore, and residents claimed for decades afterwards that the area still smelled of molasses on hot summer days.
That had to be a horrendous death.
Dude, like drowning in molasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, we were at the bookstore. We got one of our friends picked up the Johnstown flood too. So of course that's not molasses, but could you imagine if it was like on that magnitude? Just no, thank you. But that's another interesting topic.
Damn.
Damn. Speaking of Johnstown, I have a really interesting thing I got when I was there. It's this thingy. If it wants to not be.
Let me just throw a quick. I got a question for our viewers, real quick.
Sure. Let's get them engaged.
Do you know how to start? What do you need to start a zoo?
Oh Jesus
You
God!
need
Somebody
at least
answer
two
that.
pandas. You need at least two pandas, a grizzly, and 3 polars. That's the bare minimum.
Hey, you should be writing Christmas cracker jokes with that one. God, Jesus.
I'm gonna put that on the Dad's Joke
Yeah,
website.
you're in the wrong job, you are, mate. You need to start writing Christmas cracker jokes.
And read out. Yes, I did just say Johnstown flood. I use any chance I get to bring it up.
Is my microphone working?
Yes,
Yeah, there you go.
Anthony, it did it again. What is going on?
Will you behave yourself?
He's behaving. It's just the Terminator. I'll be back before you go.
I'll drive.
Say I'll be back before you go.
I will.
Keep going.
No,
You didn't finish
no.
it. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, I hope everyone is having a good night. And again, if you guys are tuning in, tell us something about your historical happenings. What's going on in your world of history? Are you going anywhere cool? Are you doing anything fun and exciting? Because we want to know about it. And we want to talk about it. I'm going to Chickamauga. We talked about that. Daz just got back from Torrington. Anthony just got back from... Where'd you just get back from? Didn't you go on a trip a couple weeks ago? Or was it longer than that?
Say it again.
You went on a trip recently too, right?
November.
November. Okay, so that was a lot. Wow, God, that was a lot.
I went to
A lot of weeks ago.
up the valley to Bristol, Bristol to Chattanooga, Chattanooga to Chickamauga, Chickamauga to Alabama, Alabama to the Smokies to Asheville, Asheville to Lynchburg, Lynchburg to Charlottesville, Charlottesville to back home to beautiful Northern Virginia.
Well, you didn't go too far then.
Only about 8
Bloody
hours.
hell.
Yeah. That's a lot of driving.
It was, wasn't it? Must have been tired.
But
after
I
that.
mean, the amount of historic sites that are probably there.
We were moving. We were moving.
I have too many
I got
ideas
too
for 2023. My problem is finding time between work and reenacting to do stuff
Tell
not
me about
pertaining
it.
to French and Indian or
Yeah.
Civil Wars. Yeah.
No.
That's my big problem
You
right
mean
now.
the
too.
you mean the 7 you mean the 7 Years War?
The First World War. One of the First World Wars.
Well, the sign at Fort Necessity clearly says that this is where Washington, the First World War.
Daz, would you agree
Yep,
with
that's
that?
it.
What's
Park
that?
Service is the authority.
Sorry, what was that, Tyler?
That the French and Indian War is arguably one of the first world wars.
The First World War.
The First World War.
I don't really know much about it, to be honest. We'll be honest, but yeah, I agree with you.
There we go. Okay, I'll take it. Just make something up.
Readout's having the same problem I am. It's like finding all this time to be able to do trips in between work and
Yeah,
crazy life,
Yeah.
adulting stuff.
life gets you.
Yeah. Being an adult sucks, doesn't it? Eh?
I would
Yeah,
like
it
to
does
make
suck.
a trip to give Buffington Island some
Yeah.
recognition, but I can't make their March tour. Perhaps November tour, I'll get out there. Okay, where is Buffington Island?
Western
Somewhere.
West Virginia on the Ohio River.
Is it really?
Yeah, I know someone who did a Navy impression for Buffington Island one time.
Okay.
He was really, really excited about it. He helped run the reenactment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, his Navy impression.
Speaking of the Navy.
So, Tyler, tell
Yeah.
us about
Speaking
your
of the Navy.
because you did
Sorry?
reenacting last week,
Very
didn't you? So you're going to get it back
No,
into
I-
it now.
David Farragut. What did you say,
I
Darren?
said,
Sorry.
tell us about your
Farragut is
reenactment
at
last
Bull
week.
Run.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, where?
So no, I was asking Tyler about his experience last weekend
Oh man,
reenacting.
that was
So
incredible.
are you going to get back into it big time?
Yeah, I'm gonna do living history more so than
Yeah,
like,
nice.
the actual.
Yeah. So
reenactment.
are you like a hardcore reenactor? would you
Uh,
say?
learning to be. I really enjoy just being out there and being able to engage
Yeah.
with the public, and also just kind of.
'Cause,
I wouldn't say
I
put
mean, I'm a
myself in.
reenactor, but I'm not a hardcore one. You know, like between
Right.
9 p.m. at 9 p.m., 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. when the public are there, you're doing your living history. But as soon as the gates shut, down the beer tent, get pissed. You know,
Right?
that's the way we do
Right?
it anyway.
See, they have it down packed. That's how it needs to be.
You know, but when the public's there, you got to be, you know,
Yeah, on your
On your
P's
game,
and
yeah.
Q's. Yeah. Mind your
When I'm not in character or well, not character, in the impression at the time, you know, it's past that time limit. I'm wearing shorts and I'm drinking a beer. Leave me alone.
yeah,
You know, like
basically, yeah. Well, I still wear the kit, you know, but you know, yeah, I'm a 4th US Infantry regular. I get to wear brass like scales and that down the beer tent. You know? So you know, and a
Cool.
nice Hardy hat from Dirty Billy's, you know, which cost me an absolute arm and a leg. But you know what? You look smart, you know.
Yes.
arms and legs are expensive. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. No. But I like Dirty Billy's. I have a Dirty Billy's hat that my dog chewed a hole in.
Oh, it's my pride and joy.
So now it's definitely like Rebel authentic. I just have a huge
Is the
hole.
dog, is the dog now buried in the back garden? Because
No, I
it would
love
be
that
in my
dog.
house.
I love that dog. I couldn't. No, it was tempting. It was tempting, but I'm like, no, I love that dog. I was like,
No,
and you
I
just
don't.
gave me an authentic. I could be like, hey, look, Billy, I got a shot in my head.
But I do love reenacting. Obviously, we don't do it.
fun.
You know, how big is reenacting as far as American Civil War is concerned in America now? Is it as big as it used to be, or is it
No.
dwindled a bit?
no, it's trending more towards
push
an
in this
authentic
country-
campaigner mentality,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and that's pushing a lot of the
Talking to
mainstreamers
more-
out.
Yeah. See, we get that.
more public.
We get a few of
more
those as
public
well. You know.
oriented.
Yeah.
It's more public oriented than battle reenactments.
Yeah.
Well,
Last-
I wouldn't even say that. I mean, depends on who you talk to. If you're doing a living history, that is public oriented. But if you talk to a lot of authentic campaigners, all they want to do is go out and do impressions most of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. They,
So-
they
But
Oh,
it's
I'm
not.
somewhere
But it's
in
moving away
between.
from. It's moving away from battle reenactments.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's more impression events.
It's more
or
about. It's more
immersion
for them,
events.
really, isn't it? Like them. You know, I've nothing. There's nothing wrong with reenactors that want to do that sort of progressive, like more sort of hardcore sort of stuff. But for me, that's not for me. You know, I just, you know. But some people, there's people like that in the UK too. You know, that like doing all that, and that's up to them. But again, I'm not really into that side of it. You know.
Right.
But
No,
I
that
just
makes
like
sense.
playing away, enjoying myself, seeing my friends, you know, talking Civil War to people, boring them to tears. You know, that's what you do. You know,
We know
don't
that
ask me
all
a question.
too well.
God help you.
I do have a question for the reenactors in the group. Is that a real fire?
Yeah, that's the one. Well, go
He
and
said-
touch it. Find out.
I'm just kidding.
no, you're not.
No,
Why are there no bullet holes in the monuments?
I genuinely got that question at Antietam one time.
Oh,
that was
my
pretty funny.
goodness.
Did you? Why did all battles happen in national parks? They get the veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the what is it? The veterans pass. Where they can just walk in. Like, I got my card. It's cheap.
In analyzing that statement, it's that people don't know what type of question to ask you, so they come up with the first thing that comes to their mind, and you know it might be a question like that, but which we think isn't a good question, but they're like trying to break the ice. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
It's like why were all national?
Rebel Anthony.
Why were all the battles in my microphone?
That again?
Yeah, you're back now, but it's down. You read that in the robot voice. Sadly, I could understand what you were saying through that, though.
It's like, why did all battles take place in national parks?
Yes,
There you go. That's the one.
that's a favorite. Or bringing a boat to the high water mark. Get it?
Cold Harbor. Where's the harbor?
There's a lot of ones, and folks at home watching too. If you have a funny question or a joke you get about the Civil War, this is also a good place to put that. So please do.
Was
Oh,
John
so
Brown
it's-
white? Was John Brown white?
That's one.
We're
you
also
got
trying
now?
to We're also not making fun of people who make those questions.
No,
It's just one
it's just
we've heard.
No,
Yeah. Now, Darren,
Yes.
you need to hear this joke Anthony has about batteries.
Okay, so transport yourself back 160 years. You're in the camp of the Army of the Potomac, or whatever army you want. And as you're walking, you first hit the cavalry. And it's nighttime, so everybody's got a campfire, right? This sea of campfires. And the cavalry campfire is so dull. And then you go to the infantry camp, and it's dull. But then you get the artillery, and they're so bright. 'Cause that's where the batteries are.
Oh dear! Don't give up your day job, will you?
After that question, I genuinely thought about leaving.
Yeah.
For that joke. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Man, we're gonna get our likes taken away again. Those few that we have.
And believe me, I say that joke whenever I can in the real world.
Well, I've now nicked that, and I'm going to use it in the UK when you're not around.
Oh, shit. One early morning before sunup, a guy in a sports car whizzed past our camp and shouted, "Get over it! You lost the war," to which we replied, "We're
Oh
fine."
dear!
Well, if they were doing first Manassas, you'd be able to, you'd be wearing this different colors.
Mm-hmm. They didn't know what side they were on yet. What did Chris Whitehead say? Do you believe all Southerners are as concerned about Civil War history as they were 20 or so years ago? That's actually a really good question.
I wouldn't say all of them.
No.
Let's say still a good bit of them believe that Robert E. Lee is the greatest thing ever created, and that we're attacking their knowledge of the war.
Yeah. And
Most
I
of them,
guess
but-
that shows a reluctance too. And I mean, just from speaking with the different Civil War types that come around to different parks, like in my experience of talking to them, I guess I wouldn't say there's a decline, but at the same time, I am noticing a reluctance of battlefield visitation from a lot of folks from the South. Yeah. But I don't know if it's drastic enough to say that it's like a huge switch. But no, man, that's actually a really good question. Maybe something worth studying too, to see maybe demographically, like what is the interest in Civil War now.
Thanks for the laughter emoji.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that. Hopefully that wasn't at his joke.
No,
We don't
wasn't
want to-
laughing
I
at
hope
your
it
joke.
was.
I know.
Please indicate what your laugh emoji
Yeah,
is
we
toward.
need to know. Was it the joke, or
Did I do something wrong?
Yeah,
Burnside did nothing wrong.
he definitely didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Apart from the crater, obviously, we
Yeah.
blame him for that. But
I more so blame James Ledley too.
well, Ledley, the Mr. Drunk, yeah. But,
Yeah.
and I mean, the
James
guy
Ledley.
should have been taken out of command before that, because I'm pretty sure he had an incident before that.
Blame the
No,
No.
no, that's encouragement for him.
No, don't look.
Thank
He's
you.
going to be a chameleon now.
So I mean, with the crater, I think blame has to go to the top.
Yeah,
Ulysses,
I like that.
you shouldn't be ashamed. You shouldn't be ashamed.
No, I'm not trying to shame you, but
blame-
at the same time, don't encourage him.
Blame has to go to the top.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
Grant didn't
Grant.
have to say
Yeah,
that.
definitely, yeah.
Grant.
And there's going to be a lot of folks that won't hold him accountable.
No, but they're the guys that push that, aren't they? They push it and they push it, and they also make the decision not to send the trained USCT, don't they? Which were knew what they were supposed to be doing.
He get my boy.
Well, it's like-
blames him a bit for it too, behind the scenes, and it's nice to read. He's just like, this is stupid.
It's like everybody blames Barlow for Gettysburg, and then they forget what he did in September of the previous year. He broke the line at Antietam, but everybody's hung up. Oh, he went to that.
Here we go.
Look earlier.
Go ahead, no, let him do his
Barlow's
Barlow
good.
piece. Yeah,
Anyway.
we'll find out one day. I have a book that I'll read on him eventually. I have a plethora behind me now. I got us finished, but Barlow's pretty cool, from what I understand. Frank Barlow.
So If there's any Barlow fans out there, please show yourself. You're not alone.
Well,
That brings up a good question. Darren, who's your favorite Civil War figure?
I think we've had this discussion.
We
before.
have. We might as well.
Really have one, to be honest. I know it
Josh,
sounds
do
a bit
you?
weird. Obviously, I do like Lincoln, obviously, but you know,
And
Ooh,
Lincoln
no,
had to
there's-
disappear because somebody's phone was
I love
dying.
Lincoln.
So
Abraham Lincoln's like, you know, just amazing.
I don't.
Noel, is that Noel? Noel, are you saying is it have to be Civil War or just any Virginia site?
All right, whoever said Dan Sickles, come on.
Boo
Read out.
that man.
No, Dan Sickles is cool.
He's a cool
Yeah, I
character.
mean, well, he's a very interesting character. Got away with assassinating essentially
Francis
right in
Scott
public.
Key's son.
Yeah,
Any. Okay.
just walked up to him in Lafayette Park and shot him.
He did.
But
he said, "You've
I've
dishonored
never-
my home, you
I've never-
scoundrel."
I've never been to Fort Monroe.
Me
That's
neither.
on the list.
I haven't. That would be a good one to see.
Fort is toward the top.
I don't really have a favorite Civil War character. I mean, they're all mainly Union. I think the Confederates are very, very overrated. And if you know my background, Robert E. Lee is extremely overrated. But mine has to be between Winfield Scott Hancock, Lincoln, and Grant.
Yeah.
And it's all different levels. I think they're all important because a corps commander is just as important as an army commander, and they all have their own different roles. And Lincoln's the head of the government, and heck, even William Henry Seward, and just so many great people that were involved with the war effort, and they all came together, kind of like the team of rivals. Like they were rivals with each other. Edwin Stanton was a Democrat, for God's sake. Like they're all Republicans, and he's a Democrat, but he was a Secretary of War. So, I don't have a single one.
Yeah, even going back to Grant before the war, he didn't support Lincoln during the election. He didn't. He weren't interested in Lincoln at all. He was actually going to vote for somebody else.
Jesse Walensky's over on Facebook too, chiming in about a favorite commander. He said, "My favorite underrated for me is actually Ambrose Burnside, Eastern North Carolina, and Knoxville. That is a very good one to bring up too."
Yep.
Yes, that is. People say Sickles.
Can we go back to? Can we go to Noel's question before
Yes, we
it
can.
gets? I threw my answer in there. Fort Monroe has always been at the top.
A Virginia battle site that I haven't been to yet.
Virginia, any site. I'd say
Top
Fort
of my
Monroe
list.
is up there. I've also, despite having been associated with Fredericksburg since 2014, in the summer of 2014, I have never stepped foot on Ferry Farm.
You want to know something crazy?
I've never stepped foot
Me neither.
on Ferry Farm.
Neither have I. And I've lived here since June of 2000. Never once have I made it out there.
Well, there you go. You know what you're doing next weekend.
Going to Ferry Farm.
There you go.
Anthony, we can go and say we finally been.
And what time's the ferry? What time did you catch it?
I don't know. Well, after you chop down the cherry tree and throw your silver dollar across the river, apparently.
Anyway,
I've been to Ferry Farm.
Have you?
It wasn't open though. I pulled in the parking lot and nothing was open. I was like, okay, this is boring, and I walked out. Nothing was open, so I want to go in the visitor center and nothing. Just okay, and I forget where I was going. I had to do something else too.
Yeah.
Fort Monroe is definitely one.
Yeah, I just got to visit Fort Monroe last summer, and it's a great site. Good to know. The thought occurs to me that I haven't done a proper video on Fort Necessity. Have one on Anthony. Try to talk again. There you go. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. It was the robot. I feel like your microphone might be possessed at this point because it's pretty scary. Ferry Farm, so cite the Chamberlain speech for Das.
Read out. I think if you're asking yourself that question, you should definitely do it. Because I thought Fort Necessity was this small little place until I actually went there, and then I was like, oh my god, it's extremely important.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you look at it and go, well, 24-year-old Washington was not the smartest person in the world. Why is this thing in the middle of a field?
Yeah, he gets bodied at Fort Necessity, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then it makes sense when you see it, and the, the Native Americans are like, we're not going to help you because you placed this thing in the stupidest place possible. And they were like, yeah, okay, goodbye. And then that's what happened.
I'm still thinking of the site I would like to see. That's got me stumped. Really, I don't know where I'd. I mean, there are so many places I want to go, but like the most burning.
Booker
You know,
T. Washington.
is that in Betson, Virginia? Yeah.
I've never done High Bridge either.
I haven't either.
High Bridge.
Monticello.
You've
No.
never done Monticello?
No.
Wow.
I went to Montpelier for the first time a couple of weeks ago myself as well. I haven't been there before, so that was my.
Well, we
first
can trade those. I've never been to Montpelier. You can go to Monticello.
Montpelier. There we go. Montpelier's cool too. So if you ever get a chance, Josh, definitely check that out. That was a really cool spot. I'm related to James Monroe, so I kind of feel like I have to go to places that he was somewhat associated with, and obviously I like James Madison quite a bit. So going to his home was definitely a necessity. Get it? Necessity. That was bad. That was really bad. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Anyways, Darren, do you like my tattoo? I thought.
Oh, Trevilian Station.
No.
No,
That's a good one.
haven't been to Trevilian Station either. Oh wow. Do you believe the ball was dropped when it came to Reconstruction after the war due to the loss of Lincoln?
Yes.
Exponentially so. I think it was more aggressive on what's Johnson's part than Lincoln's.
Then Rutherford B. Hayes ran on the statement that he would stop the Freedmen's Bureau, and that's exactly what he did. And then look at what happened: Jim Crow era laws, segregation laws, and the rise of Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing was a mess for like 100 odd years because of that.
Hey, look on the bright side, though. During the Hayes administration, FitzJohn Porter's name was cleared.
Hey, that's right. FitzJohn Porter got
Took him
shitty.
long enough. Took him long.
Didn't he like retire like immediately after that? Yeah, I would too. I mean, at that point.
But you talk about things about if Lincoln wasn't assassinated, but I think some people were put on this earth to do one thing, and he was put on this earth to be the president during the Civil War, and he was going to die. That was that. That's what he was there for.
The Vienna.
Noel, to answer your question, I've never done Union Mills, so the extreme other end of Beauregard's line. I've never done that. There's supposedly the remnants of the bridge are there, and there's supposedly some earthworks or something over there. I've never yet done Union Mills before, okay. So that's towards the top of the list.
And Noel, you and I have spoken about this before. I really want to go see where Del Kemper's artillery had that kerfuffle with the Union Army there in Vienna. That's definitely on my list. Because Vienna's in Fairfax, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Fairfax County. Yep. I used to live there.
Yeah, me too.
I was born in Leesburg. That's in Loudoun County. I was actually born pretty close to where the Balls Bluff battlefield is. There, you know what? That's the top site, even over Monticello. I'm going back and changing that. Balls Bluff battlefield. I almost encouraged Anthony and Lex to go the other day. I was like, we're not far from Leesburg. I have never been to name a place most visitors don't know about yet is a must to see. The Swale.
Yeah.
River Bees book.
The alleyway.
River Bees is a great place. One of the River Bee books is pretty cool. And then McKay's on the not even gonna get me started with that place. That place is on my list. like my list big time of things to see. Or again, let's see again.
know
Yep,
about
in the
that.
McKays. I would say the swale at Fredericksburg for sure. That was, living here and doing the battlefields for so long and walking all of them. The one that really had the most impact on me when it came to the Fredericksburg battlefield next to Slaughter Pen and being able to visualize would be the remnants of the swale that's left. Because you know that there are so many soldiers that are hunkering down there and using that as that last shelter, and to be able to stand there and kind of envision that. And Dad saw, I flopped
That was the
myself right
coolest
to the ground.
experience of everything. Was doing that.
It really was.
On the-
It was good.
On the Chancellorsville battlefield, I've got to mention it because the 61st New York was there, and Miles got a Medal of Honor. So over there, McLaws Drive, so-called McLaws Drive, on
Oh, the
the
McLaws Wedge Trail.
Chancellorsville battlefield. Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Catherine's Furnace is also
I just did that
super
for-
freaking
Oh,
cool.
that's really eerie. I don't like that place.
Yeah.
Captain's Furnace.
Yeah,
They're the Georgians that were the rear
rear
guard of the.
First United States sharpshooters.
I'll name one.
And who were the only elements of the 11th Corps not to get caught up in the flank attack? Francis Barlow's brigade of Charles
There
Devens'
it goes.
division. So that's another good reason why you should go to Catherine Furnace is Francis Barlow.
There you go. Yeah, Darren, if you haven't gotten by now, this guy is on a huge Francis Barlow kick right now.
I'm starting to get the gist. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I'm
he's
going to
really
say
got some great
another
jokes.
battlefield,
What's that?
Spotsylvania. Go to the Mule Shoe.
Wow.
But the visitors do know about the Mule Shoe. There's another thing you could do, which is taking the actual walking tour out to the along the Union line and then walking into the Mule
The
Shoe. I
Landrum.
don't see people doing that often.
That's the Landrum
But-
Lane walk. Yeah, that's a freaking
That
scary walk, man. That
That puts the entire battle of the Mule Shoe into concept.
Yep.
And whose division was part of the first line of the assault at the Mule Shoe?
Let me guess.
Oh, why did I say it?
Yeah. Hey,
Ken
but
Harlow.
who's over on the
Another
other
reason.
side? The May 10th.
Emory Upton.
Initiate this. That's right.
Doesn't matter. He's not there on the 12th.
Your boy would not have attacked that if Upton didn't attack the works on the 10th.
True.
If it wasn't for Upton, Barlow wouldn't be where he was at. So you're welcome. Thank Emory. Actually, Upton
Thank
really didn't.
Grant.
True. Well, no. Grant liked what Upton did. Grant didn't do, or really, he didn't have much of a hand in it. This is all very interestingly done by Martin McMahon, Brigadier General David Russell. The other guy, Randall Mackenzie, are really the brainchild behind Upton.
Mackenzie.
Yes, Upton's really just excellent at carrying out orders at Spotsylvania, and this isn't necessary. And I've argued this a lot. Is that when I started liking Upton, I was all about his attack. This is his. He's so innovative. He launches this. No, he doesn't. It's actually kind of scoped out by other folks, the ones I just named. And in fact, my favorite thing to dispute all that is a direct quote from Upton himself when he's given a command. He didn't get to handpick regiments. They're not his regiments that he went in and picked up. Because his response was, "By golly, Mac, that is a splendid command." And I just absolutely love that. He says, "By golly." It's as small as that is.
My gosh, by golly.
Mhm.
And Chris Whitehead on Facebook, have any of you visited Shiloh?
No,
No,
but it's
sir.
definitely on the list. Definitely
Nope.
on the list. One.
None of us have been to
Bucket
Shiloh.
list.
That sucks. Anthony, what did you just do? That
I
was
just
painful.
knocked my leg. I just knocked my leg into a chair.
Daz, what about you? If you could pick any site in the United States the next time you're over here to go and visit, what would it be?
Oh,
Yorktown.
no, that's done Yorktown. Very enjoyable. I actually really liked Yorktown. It was great.
Save
But,
some people too.
No, I do want to go down to Petersburg and do that part of it. Because we didn't get a chance to do that bit. I've been lucky enough to do the Wilderness and Spotsylvania, and I even been down to the North Anna.
Mhm.
And
You went down with Chris, right?
I did. I went down with Chris Mikowski down to North Anna. That was great. And but yeah, I want to follow the overland campaign a bit further down. I'd like to actually see Richmond actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be
A
cool.
lot
Go
of
to
Civil War
Chimborazo,
history in Richmond,
Malvern Hill,
and but yeah, all
Turner's
that
Claw.
area, you know,
Yep.
and do some of that.
Parker's Battery. Let's go.
But I do really, really want to go to Appomattox as well.
Yeah.
Where technically the Civil War finishes.
All right, Shannon, I'm going to read your comment off screen because I have the full thing in front of me here. It doesn't fit on my screen. The Gordonsville Receiving Hospital became Freedmen's Bureau after the war, and I was reading over some of the files we have at the Museum of Court Cases heard there, and I have to admit I was a little disgusted by the verdicts. I had to remind myself that the officers that were making the decisions were not Confederates, but rather were Union officers. It doesn't seem that they were any justice for the free men and women bringing the suits against whites. Jeez.
Yep.
I want to make it out to the Gordonsville Hospital to come check that out. We should, Anthony, make a trip out there soon.
I have been there
Have you?
about 4 years ago, but I have been there.
Okay. Well, we can go get good barbecue also. That's an excuse to go out there to see this and get some barbecue.
That's out there. That
It is
way
not
out
not
there.
too far from me. It's like wow, we went like I
From
said.
Centerville. It's not
Well, Centerville, it's kind of a hike.
a little
Little
bit.
bit.
Yeah, right.
A little
I
bit.
think Shanna's comment touches on a little bit about history that a lot of times we forget about. History is ugly, and we don't like it sometimes.
You're not wrong.
Like especially when you're studying Civil War and antebellum
course it
America,
is.
because when it comes down to it, this is enslavement,
Yeah.
and it can get very upsetting.
Mhm.
Yes, it can. In fact, I'm going to put a picture up that I took out in Montpelier here in a second to explain that because I had a very serious experience like that just a couple weeks ago. That was something that we don't typically think about when we go to these battlefields or we go to historic sites like this. Mainly, also going to a place like Montpelier.
I have a lot to say about it, but I really can't because I still work for the same agency.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I used to work at one of those sites that talks about exactly this, and it just every once in a while you'd be finding these documents, and you're like, makes you mad. You have to walk out for a little while and
We found
recenter
one, or
yourself.
you found one at one point. I remember reading one.
Yep.
Yeah. This one hit me really hard. And for those who don't know, this is a train station that was built by one of the DuPonts when they took over. I can't remember the general first. It's not William DuPont. It's, the DuPont that owned Montpelier had built a train station so that he could have an easier access to Delaware, a weekly trip that he would take. But the Montpelier train station was obviously segregated, and they have made the rooms look very similar to what they would have looked like in 1911 onwards. And this place has some controversy behind it too. The post office shut it down completely, and without telling anybody, without doing anything, and just locked their doors and said we don't want to be here because of the controversy associated with the other side of the building there. Thankfully, the U.S. government wasn't having that shit, and they were like, "No, you better open up again," and they did. So that was a crazy thing, but that building itself, walking into the different rooms and seeing the stark differences in the white waiting room and the colored waiting room, it was just, I don't know. I had a very powerful experience there, and I'm going to go back and make sure that every trip to Montpelier, I go over there because it reminds us that history is not a pretty thing.
No.
There's not this beautiful, like, fun. It's not a fun thing to study at times either. I mean, it's never really fun studying about war. I shouldn't say it's fun. It's interesting, yes, but it's a lesson that we get from this, and that's why we study it.
Yeah, history in general is uncomfortable.
It
if
is.
it's not uncomfortable, you shouldn't be looking at it.
Yeah, seek help. Please seek help because it's a learning experience, and again, one of those that was a powerful thing. But even Jamestown, Darren, you saw that was the first time I've ever gotten teary eyed at a historic site, and I don't know why Jamestown was the one of all, but we were in one of the churches and talking about just the experience of this country being founded on that spot. This is where everything, our history really started right there. And that to me was extremely powerful. Like all of the history we study, no matter what era it's in, all comes back to 1607.
Yeah, and I've got to say that site is amazing.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was.
that place.
God, that was
I
cool.
want to go back there so bad.
Me too.
You get that experience at like Independence Hall.
Do you?
And if I do make it ever to the United Kingdom, I want to go to the Parliament because that's where Winston Churchill gave speeches from.
There you
man.
go, yeah. And then you
Yeah,
can see
it's-
the Churchill monument that we have there in Parliament
Mhm.
Square. But we also have Abraham Lincoln in Parliament Square.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Noel,
1865, if you
Noel,
have
if you
that-
have that map, I would love to see it.
yeah, if you could you either Facebook message me a picture of that? Because I'd love to throw that on the screen before we go off here,
I would love to see that.
or a
map.
link to it. If you could put the link in the chat, I can pull that up. How many of you are familiar with the Sultana disaster? Honestly, I'm not familiar.
I've heard of it.
Have you?
Yeah, I've
Yes.
It burnt. Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah,
give
yeah.
us a synopsis in the chat there, man, please do. That's a cool. I've never heard of it.
Tana.
But yeah, Noel too. I would love to, really love to see that map.
That
actually.
map.
As soon as somebody puts or talks about the Sultana, I'm going to be like, that's it. Because it's in the back of my mind. And I'm like, where is it?
I know it's gonna be one of those. I don't know.
Aha!
You find it?
Nah.
Mm-mm.
I'm waiting for somebody to post something about it. I'm too lazy to Google it.
It'd be like that sometimes. As I like to say.
Worst
And we're not talking about the musician.
maritime disaster in American history.
Santana. Is it
Yeah.
really? Even over the Titanic?
1,169 people killed
Titanic's
on
not
April
American.
27, 1865.
That's the one that blew up in the Mississippi, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was overshadowed by John Wilkes Booth doing something.
Yeah, something.
What? So did it blow up?
Yes.
How did
Boiler explosion.
Oh, that's not fun. Correct.
The ships back then had a tendency to do that. There's also the USS Tulip disaster that happened in the Potomac off of St. Inigo's Island. USS
Right.
Tulip, yeah.
Is that ship still down there?
Good question. I should know that because I was in charge of the monument down there.
That's the
But-
USS Tulip.
Yeah, there's a cemetery down in St. Mary's. It's like the smallest U.S. cemetery in the country. At least that's what the county government claims.
Yeah, because I know they say that about Balls Bluff too. Yeah, no, it doesn't say. Oh, it was a Civil War. Okay.
Yep, it blew up. The boiler was bad. They fired the boiler up and it blew up. Killed a whole bunch of sailors.
And it was in the Rappahannock for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's actually pretty darn cool.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
No kidding. So I bet that's a very interesting topic for you for sure. Well, folks, it is coming close to our final time here. Does anybody have any last minute thoughts before we say good night?
Yeah.
No,
Anthony,
thank
don't
you
give up
for
your day
having
job.
me.
Oh, you know you're always.
As always, thanks.
Yeah, Josh, absolutely. And it didn't sound sarcastic this time, Anthony. That sounded real. Thanks for having me. that was.
I will not be quitting my day job.
Good.
No, because
Don't do that.
you're definitely not a comedian.
Save the dad jokes.
You want to close us out with a dad joke tonight?
Yeah, go on, play us out, Anthony. Go
Give us
for
a
it,
good.
mate.
It's got to be a good one too.
Yeah.
Well, ever since I moved to Virginia, I've had this irrational fear of speed bumps. But since I moved here, I'm slowly getting over it.
Oh
If
dear.
I've had $1 for every time this man has said that freaking joke.
You know, for dinner, you all should make sure that if you want to cook an alligator, you don't use a crock pot.
All right, Noel's looking right now. Should I give a few minutes so we can show that before we go?
Yeah.
Or we could show
Oh,
it
we've
next
got a
episode.
comedian on, so
Yeah, we do.
watching
Keep
him.
going. Go ahead. Do
Keep going.
another
Go
one.
on.
You want? This is your time. This is your spotlight.
Your
Just
spot.
shine.
Oh, you are laughing with us. You are laughing with us.
Why am I laughing? No, you're laughing at him. All right, Anthony, go ahead. You got some more.
I've got one. A man
Last
walked into
one,
the
Drew.
bar. Ouch. Anyway,
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, why did the can crusher quit his job?
I don't know why.
It was so depressing. Oh, Anthony didn't like that one.
Which state has the smallest drinks?
That's which state?
I don't know.
Minnesota.
I don't have any good ones.
Do you know what time the man went to the dentist?
No, what time?
2:30. 2:30.
2:30.
2:30.
Yeah.
it's getting bad now. Yeah, no.
Have you heard what the latest? How about the latest pirate movie?
It was rated R.
R.
Fuck, it's so
I'm
bad.
a big fan of the Bee Gees and Chinese food. You can tell by the way I use my walk.
Oh.
Oh man.
There you go, Daz.
Don't worry, I'll be celebrating.
I would celebrate too. I would.
Getting coffee and chucking it in the Thames. In the Great Stink.
Oh my gosh, guys! I thought we were going away, but these jokes are just keeping us here. That's just... Folks, we will see you guys on the next episode of the Unfiltered Conversations. I hope everybody has a good night. Thank you, everybody, for joining.